Zadon Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are, of course, going to be talking about Chapter 11 of Hunter's Guild Red Hood. Now, this is an important point in the story, as this is the first chapter that has almost no Velo. Now, obviously, most anime and manga have these occasional chapters where the main character is hardly involved. But this is the first one, which is actually pretty early considering the fact that we're only on chapter 11. But yeah, obviously we'll talk more about it as we continue in this story, but it's also just kind of funny that both of the chapters that we're talking about have almost nothing to do with, well, almost have nothing showing of the main character. Basically, Velo only shows up at the end of this chapter as basically the conclusion. So, yeah. But basically, this chapter was mostly focusing on the three that are currently out, away from the actual trials. They are trying to find as many people as they can, while also making sure to stay away from people that are about to be captured. Basically staying away from, well, the big important people that they need to stay away from. And, yeah, it's really helpful. But I also don't think the person that the creator knows how to do math. No, wait, never mind. I'm wrong. I'm kidding. Obviously they know how to do math. But basically they have collected 15 people in total, including the original 6, to team up to face off against the two. To face off against Grim, and I keep forgetting what the other one's name is, but yeah. But the interesting thing about this is that it really feels like a chapter that's meant to show you what these other characters can do. It almost feels like, well, a lot of the My Hero Academia episodes, where they decide to focus on one or two of the extra basically the rest of the class, to basically show how powerful they are, what powers they have. And it's needless to say, it's really interesting. And it's also really interesting to see just how exactly different hunters go around with their tasks. Some of them choose to get stronger, some of them choose to be athletic, like those are two of the characters that are in the cage with Velo. These three are the smart ones. One of them has pills that he takes in order to cast spells. Another one is a kind of a priestess and can command, can ask for the power of her god to cause different effects, specifically shield type effects, which is really cool, but I don't know how much that's going to be involved as we continue. But there's that. And then, of course, there is the final guy, who is a frickin' scientist. Which I just have to say, I love the fact that in this world of magic and stuff like that, there's this one character who is just a huge frickin' nerd and is just a scientist. Like, holy crap. And it's even funnier because Brains over Brawn is the same frickin'... It's happening. That is part of this fight, which actually leads me to wonder if perhaps this character is going to become one of the main characters moving forward. The fact is that I don't really think that all of these characters that we're meeting in this chapter, or in these chapters on the for the test, are actually going to be super involved. For example, Velo is obviously going to be a main character. But people like Bunker or maybe the scientist, honestly, I don't think that many of them are going to be main characters. Do I think they're going to show up over and over again? Absolutely. But it's kind of like if you were talking about Fairy Tail and you had witches from other guilds or whatever, basically different wizards and witches from other other guilds. That's the kind of thing that I see a lot of these characters being. Like, obviously, there's going to be the occasional one that's going to be a really important character moving forward, but for the most part, most of these characters are probably never going to show up again. With, honestly, I think Milty and Tilty are probably going to be the only other hunters that are going to be continuing to go on this journey with Velo. It remains to be seen, but it's definitely a possibility. Also, I kind of wish that some of these characters would actually be taken out, like, permanently. Like, 100%, I am hoping that that business asshole that they fought in this episode, or this chapter, will get taken out. Like, he's going to be arrested, and then he's like let's say, Grim and I keep forgetting what her name is. They only have like one handcuff, so they try to handcuff one person. It ends up being this business guy, and afterwards, they steal the last handcuff they could get, and yeah. They decide to just say, okay, you can go. I actually think that there might still, at this point, I'm actually starting to think that there might actually be a few people that will be arrested by the end of this series, by the end of this episode, or this arc, whatever we want to call it, that will stay arrested and they're not going to be able to free them, or they're just not going to give a crap. Like I said, the business guy, 100%, I don't think he needs to be rescued. He's an asshole. But I still think that there is a possibility that they will still rescue everyone. They will still win this. But the thing is that at this point, they have half. They have half of the people are on their side. And you want to know who's not on their side right now? Milty and Tilty. Those two are two of the remaining 15 that still need to join them. And they kind of showed that in the last chapter. 3 people have they gained while in prison, and then the other 6 are 5 of them are members that joined up with who were being forced to work for the businessman, as well as and then the 6th one is the businessman. And then obviously the remaining 6 are the main group that stayed up there at the beginning. So it remains to be seen what exactly is going to happen with Milty and Tilty. Are they going to team up? Are they going to say no? Remains to be seen. And it's rather interesting because I actually think that those 15 over the next hour or so that they still have, I don't know how much longer they have, but those ones are going to be the free ones. They're going to be the ones that will escape. And I think that some of them will escape, but a large amount of them will probably not. But the ones that'll pass are the ones that teamed up. They figured out that how to be the hunters rather than the hunted. And it's a really good thing that they managed to figure this out. Who knows? We don't know how exactly they're going to pass. And honestly, I've said before that this is kind of one of those situations where you don't really want to make sure that anyone specifically... you don't really want the rules to mean the rules. I think that at this point, they're going to realize, oh, yeah, no, that wasn't the actual test. The test was to see if you guys could actually become hunters. if you could actually work together, stop being the prey and become the hunters. No longer be the hunted, become the hunters, as that is the main goal. And those of you who teamed up into Velo's team, you did well. Even if you didn't actually, even if you got captured, you managed to work through things. You managed to break out. Those of you who didn't would end up being arrested. And sure, some of you got arrested who teamed up with Velo and his team. Some of you will pass. Needless to say, I don't think that every single one of them will pass, but we'll talk about that more as we continue through the series. And it remains to be seen what's going to happen next chapter. Honestly, I don't really know how many more chapters they're going to have for this arc. In fact, I actually think that this might be the equivalent of, the USJ arc in My Hero Academia, where it's a rather short arc, but it's really important for setting things up. Just a little thought for right now. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you do have a theory, please make sure to say theory review somewhere in a comment. And of course, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. It really helps us out. And also, why not share this video with a friend? It might help us out a little bit. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course our Patreon. Which a big thank you to our current patrons, Sheeny and Joseph. And of course, a big thank you to anyone who has been listening to the music on our Spotify. I've mentioned it already, but there is going to be another song coming very soon, so definitely pay attention and get ready for that. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!